Hello, welcome to our top tips on virtual event selling for the year ahead. The team here at Benchmark spent a fair amount of 2020 selling virtual events, and we saw the highs and the lows experienced by exhibition salespeople firsthand. When the events world was turned upside down, almost every event organiser attempted to translate their event online in some way, hoping to keep their clients engaged through the pandemic, while their event sales teams did their best to meet the expectation of continuing to generate revenue in the toughest of climates. There were successes, failures, and many somewhere in between. But two things seem clear. Selling anything is harder in the current climate than ever. And when selling virtual opportunities, it is likely that our clients will expect a more knowledgeable, polished sales experience from us than they may have received last year, when we were all learning on the job. So, if you haven't already done so, now is the time to revisit and adjust your sales strategy. Many of our buyers are researching solutions to their problems on their own, as they're working from home, with all those added distractions. And they're trying to find the answers in an increasingly complex buying process, which Gartner estimates now involves between 6 and 10 decision makers. Their distinguished VP, Brent Adamson, sums it up when he says that the single biggest challenge of selling today is not selling, it is actually our customers' struggle to buy. So, our approach to virtual event sales now needs to focus on making it easier for our clients to buy our event solutions. But how do we do that? Tip 1. Research first, always. Of course, you already know the importance of doing your research before reaching out to a prospect or an existing client, but your customers have changed significantly. Translating existing contacts' needs from last year to this will be no easy task, and you can't assume that new prospects have any knowledge on virtual events either, so it's time to take your research to another level. Establish what is actually happening in their business, what they're saying on their socials, and if their role has changed since your last event. Understand how the business is performing generally too, and if they're hiring, and if so, in which areas. And for those clients who you managed to engage in a virtual event last year, have an open and honest conversation with them, with the benefit of hindsight, about how that was received and how far it helped them to reach their goal. That research can then inform your initial outreach, saving your client time by ensuring you provide relevant information and create clear opportunities of interest. Research shows that only 17% of buyers' time is spent actually engaging with the seller, so you need to make it count. Tip 2. Share content. Offering useful insights from your last event that are relevant to your buyer is a great strategy. LinkedIn research found that almost half of all buyers will strongly consider a brand when the rep shares content which is applicable to their decision-making role. This could be audience demographics, session insights, feedback survey results, or a specific connection. Give them something of tangible value before you try to sell to them, showing them that you can save them time and effort in their buying process. For content, your marketing team is a great place to start. Taking time to connect with them to understand their marketing strategy for this year and feeding in your insight to that strategy is extremely advantageous and should form part of your planning process for this year's sales campaign. Businesses who join up sales and marketing activities to attract the right buyers for their sellers and vice versa have significantly more successful events. Though this sounds obvious, it isn't always in place, and the practicalities of making it happen tend to mean that as campaigns progress and workload increases, the gap between marketing and selling activities widens. A great way to combat this are regular workshops with the sales and marketing teams, as are joint incentives, but that is a topic for another Top Tips episode. For now, remember that sharing specific content with relevant buyers is key to finding the right people to bring together at your event. This makes it easier for you to find the right clients and easier for you to gain commitment from them, making the selling process simpler for you both. Tip 3. Be transparent. It sounds simple, but being transparent was incredibly hard for many sales professionals last year. This was actually due to the fact that most sales teams were learning on the job, creating virtual offerings for the very first time. This year, sales conversations need to focus on simplifying the process for your buyers. This requires complete transparency. If you've previously hidden your rates in your exhibitor promotional materials, now is the time to add them in. Identify where you can condense your buying options into packages and ensure you are quick to respond and available in your communications. It's important to consider whether your sales process is as transparent as it can be for your client. Any unnecessary stages can complicate the process and ultimately lead to delays. Always explain what the process is and what timeline you're working to for a decision and why. A timely proposal detailing the investment and the specific opportunity with a specified follow-up date for you to follow up on is a basic process that works every time. If your process is more complex than this, then it's worth revisiting now to ensure you meet your buyer's need for transparency and simplicity. Tip 4, evolve your language and your thinking. As event salespeople, you'll have been using your known language when engaging with clients and referring to exhibitors and sponsors, and for virtual exhibitions to stand size and virtual booth appearance. Some virtual stand packages last year even included a waste bin, table and chair. But this confused language adds complexity for your clients, which is the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. We need to advance our language and approach to reflect what we are actually selling. If you're now selling a virtual event, even with a virtual expo floor, the type of involvement you want your prospects to have is that of a partner, as opposed to an exhibitor. With this in mind, the options you provide to them need to be built around marketing opportunities, networking, and content accessibility. This requires partner-style conversation and a deliberate move away from outdated language rooted in physical events. According to recent Explore research, businesses who work with their clients in this way, treating each of them as partners, had the most successful results in terms of client satisfaction in 2020. The key to continued growth for events is retention, seeing each client as a long-term partner. And it's crucial. So we need to focus on building relationships with our clients for year-round involvement in both digital and in-person events and communities. And the good news is, if we can get this right, when the buying process is more complex than ever, your clients will have every reason to stay. Tip 5, know your tech. In 2020, many salespeople found themselves selling virtual events while the decision on which platform to use was still being made, or was still in development. It's incredibly hard to sell with transparency in this environment, and unfortunately, this was at the heart of several disappointing experiences for our customers last year. So, this year, address this issue head on and be proactive in getting the training and understanding that you need. Here are some practical things you can do to put you in a better position when selling events this year. You can ask for training. Understand the front end and back office reporting capabilities so that you can advise your clients effectively. Experience the process as a client from start to finish by asking for a login to upload content, networking profile and manage meetings. This shouldn't take more than half a day and is time well spent to be able to speak knowledgeably on the platform with your clients. You can do your research on the platform. Understand exactly what your virtual events will offer in 2021, what mix of learning, networking and sales it will provide. How and who will it be marketed to by your team, and which of your current customers will most benefit? You can add your feedback. If your business is looking to invest in a different platform this year, or you're developing additional features, be sure to feedback your clients' perspectives. Every client is key to the success of your virtual events this year, so it's important to ensure that their voices are heard and your platform meets their objectives. Strangely, sales teams are not always asked for this feedback in my experience, so if that is the case in your business, stick your head up and offer your intel. You can manage the expectations of your clients. So if you can't get insight into the platform before the next event takes place, then be honest with clients. Don't avoid technical questions, but don't allow this to overcomplicate the buying process either. If you don't know for sure how something will work, don't make it up, as you're creating confusion and distrust down the line. Focus your client on how your event can help meet their needs, on audience profile, on content, and on the marketing activity. Your clients will want to see the platform before the event is live, but this shouldn't preclude a decision. Ask to have screenshots of specific elements if that will help, and reassure them of the post-sale process. If you can find the answer to the specific platform question, then obviously do so and feed it back. And remember to share this with your fellow sales teams to enhance their knowledge too. So that wraps up our 5 top tips for selling virtual events this year. I hope you found them helpful. If you need further guidance or advice on selling virtual events in today's climate, I'm happy to help. You can reach me, Debbie Lee, on LinkedIn, or get in touch with the Benchmark Collective team via our website, LinkedIn, Instagram or Facebook. Good luck.